What is up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in. We got a lot of things to update you guys on. We just came off of a huge month in the brokerage business, and just a lot of things to talk about because today is November 2nd. We only have got about 60 days left of this year, and I want to talk about how to finish your year strong. Because a lot of us, a lot of people who watch my content, or a lot of us in business, right? Like maybe you're on track for your goals, maybe you're not, and I want to share with you a couple things that will support you in having and basically ending this year on a high note and kicking things off in 2026 in a big way. So obviously, if you guys are new to the channel, what is up, everybody? Nice to meet you guys. Again, my name is Henry Eisenstein. I've been a part of nearly $1 billion worth of real estate transactions, been in the business about a decade. Started in the residential side, now I'm in the commercial side. I'm an investor, wholesaler, broker, basically been on every single angle of this business. I'm literally in the middle of several wholesale deals. We have over 20 deals in contract right now. Huge pipeline, trying to basically make next year. This year we're already ahead of where we were last year, but I'm still trying to break into the 8-figure range, which hopefully will happen next year. I've never done it yet. Been in the low to mid 7-figure range for quite some time. So I'm excited to hopefully break through that in 2026. Hopefully we'll have an 8-figure year. We'll keep you guys posted along the way. But nonetheless, I want to basically come on here and share a few key things that will help you guys end 2025 on a high note and also kick off 2026 in the biggest way possible. So without any further ado, let's dive on in. So for those of you who are just tuning in, I think it's important for us to also be paying attention to a few key things, which is, number one, if you have not yet registered for the business planning workshop, it's in the description down below. It's going to be one of our biggest events I've ever done. We already have almost, I think we have like 50 people registered already. I'd like to have like 200 or 300 or 400. It's going to be live here on YouTube. But if you pre-register, which is in the description down below, wherever you're watching this, but if you're pre-registered, you're going to get access to a private Zoom room where we're going to do a Q&A, a private Q&A afterwards to make sure you get all the value necessary that you're looking for. So make sure you register for the business planning workshop. Again, it's in the description down below. Fill out the pre-registration application, and you guys will get access to that private Zoom link, because it will be live on YouTube. It is December 10th at 12 noon Eastern. We're going to dive into everything you need in order to blow up your business. Besides that, also, for the first time ever, we're doing a pre-launch of CREsync. It's a pre-launch, okay? It's a pre-launch. We're probably going to go, big time launch later this year. But anyways, for those of you right now, you can get 30 days of free access to CREsync, my custom-built, go high-level CRM, built specifically for commercial real estate agents. It's down in the description down below. You're going to get 30 days of free access. I've never even offered it before. We've only done private launch, giveaways to people for free. This is for you for free. You can go in the description down below and you can click on that link as well. So sign up for that. You're going to get 30 days free, and then it's $297 after that. But again, you can cancel it anytime in the next 30 days. But anyways, you can go and download that as well. So let's dive in. How do you end 2025 on a high note? Well, in business in general, okay? In business in general, one of the things that I think is incredibly important for people to realize is that, and maybe it sounds elementary for a lot of you guys, but a lot of you need to raise the game, raise your level of play, raise your standards. Okay, so let's talk about what that is, right? So number one for me is always, whenever I'm talking to somebody, raise your standards, okay? Must raise your standards. Okay, so whatever right now your minimum standard is, it's time to increase it, right? This is the time now where a lot of you guys are like, hey, like I'm making, let's just say, 10 calls a day, 20 calls a day, 30 calls a day. Right now, until the end of this year, or even till, because a lot of people take off, by the way, like 3 weeks. They take off a week for Thanksgiving. They take off 2 weeks, basically from the 15th of December or 16th of December, whatever that is, whatever that Friday is, all the way till January 2nd. And they take all this time off. And here's the problem when you do that, okay, is that you basically set yourself up for a really slow quarter one next year, okay? And sometimes it rolls into quarter two. So you set yourself up for a really slow Q1 and Q2, and that's just not okay. That's not okay in my book, right? So what's important to understand is like, look, you can take certain days off. Like for those of you who are like looking at your bank account and you're upset or you can't even open up your bank app, or you guys are frustrated because you're so off from where your goals are, you get to realize something between today, which is November 2nd upon this recording, okay? By the way, this is a Sunday at 5 something in the afternoon, okay? And I'm here on YouTube talking to you guys because I really, I care about you guys and I want you guys to succeed at a high level. And I have big goals this year and I'm going to do whatever I can to possibly achieve them. So it's important for all of you here, okay, is that if you're not on track for your goals, okay, you get to make sure you do a few things. One, Thanksgiving week. So raise your standards. Let's talk about Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving. Okay, Thanksgiving. So with like my handwriting, it's awful. So I'm like a doctor, right? So with Thanksgiving week, you guys get to take off Thanksgiving, right? Which is just, just that day. Okay, so one day. Okay, you just get to take off Thanksgiving. And then you get to make sure you work on that Wednesday, and then you get to also work on that Friday. Because so many of you guys are taking off work unnecessarily. You're not even on, like your bank account pisses you off. You can barely afford your bills, and you're taking off an entire week. It makes no sense. So for those of you who want to achieve big things, you have big goals, you guys have to step up your standards. Stop taking all this time off because you don't even freaking deserve it. Take off Thanksgiving Day. Fine. Be with your family. That's okay. Guess what I do on Thanksgiving Day? I like to send out video messages to all my highest clients, my biggest clients, my most active clients, my VIPs. I'll send out a bunch of, video messages. Literally just you stand in front of your phone. You take your phone just like this, right? And you go, hey, John Tenery, EXP commercial. Just wanted to send you a quick video. Just want to let you know I'm thinking about you. And I hope you and the family have an amazing Thanksgiving Day. Looking forward to connecting with you next week. If you need anything at all, I'm always here for you. Enjoy the day. Talk to you soon. That's it. Send that out 50 times. You're going to be blown away with the response rate. People are going to love it. The point is, you can definitely increase your production just by sending out a simple video message. Okay. Now, next. Okay, look, I'm Jewish, but, again, for those of you who are, celebrate Christmas, and by the way, again, my, half my family celebrates Christmas, right? Like my in-laws celebrate Christmas, right? So what I get to do here is like for Christmas Day, right? Guess what? Christmas Day / Eve, right? Half the day on Christmas Eve, the full day on Christmas, fine. Take the day, right? Take maybe 1.5 days off. Okay, guess what? I've gotten this is 2.5 days. Okay, and then for some of you, you guys like to take off New Year's. Okay, what some of you do is that you take off New Year's, you got Eve, and you got Day. And most people take off both. And if you want to, fine. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do. For Thanksgiving, I'm going to take a half day. Because realistically, I'm going to host a bunch of people at my house. We're going to do like a big entrepreneurship Friendsgiving on Thanksgiving. Okay. I'm going the week before to spend a day with my family. I'm not going to do it on Thanksgiving because the time does not work for me. Okay. Christmas Day, with this, right? By the way, I'm going to take off probably the night of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day to be with my family. Okay. Again, I'm going to be with my in-laws. Okay. Then New Year's, I'm going to be taking off probably, I'd say about a full day because I'm going to be working probably, half day on the front and then a half day on the back end, right? So this is one day. That's what I'm going to be specifically doing, right? Which is basically a half day here, okay? A full day here plus a full day. So I'm going to take off 2.5 days the entire rest of this year. Every other day I will be working, okay? So now, look, I'm not telling you to take off holidays because, guess what? I'm not where I want to be. I still have big goals. I still want to achieve big things. So I'm not going to take off as many days. However, this is how to show you, like, if you're frustrated with where you're at, right? If you're not happy, you're not content with where you're at, you get to take less days off. Okay. This is just me. So raise your standards. This has a lot of things, not only the days off, but this also has to mean with like your current production. Some of you guys aren't even making enough calls to even, get yourself to the point where you're generating 1 lead a day. And if you're not generating 1 lead a day, I don't understand how you possibly think you're going to be earning more than maybe 100 or 200 grand a year. You're just not. So it's up to you guys to be looking at this from the lens of saying, hey, I want to earn more. I want more out of my life. So I get to do things differently. And you get to start today, right? By the way, some of you, some of my coaches, who, as an example, were posting in the chat today. They're making calls today on a Sunday. You get to do the same exact thing. If you're not content with where you're at, you just get to do different things. You get to act differently. So first off is raising your standards. This has to do with, by the way, a lot of different things. Okay. So number one, raise standards. Let's talk about for what though, okay? So, you got your calls, how many calls you're making, right? The amount of time put into lead gen. Okay, great, that's one. Your conversations, right? You get to raise the amount of conversations. I would tell you here, ready? For number one, calls and time, I would tell you somewhere between 3 to 5 hours a day. Okay, conversations, 30 plus per day. Okay, this is 6+ days per week. You want to upgrade your upgrade your life. You want to make more money. These are standards you need to start raising. Okay, these are where you need to be. That's your calls and the amount of time on it. This is your conversations. Let's talk about leads now. Leads. I would say try to do 2 a day, 2 per day. 2 seller leads. This is seller focus. Okay, 2 seller leads every single day. If you're not generating 2 seller leads a day, I don't know what you're doing. And if you want to know how to do this specifically, again, down in the description below, you can register for a business planning workshop. Make sure you do so. If you want to know how to organize your leads, in the description down below, you can get 30 days of free access to CREsync. We're doing our first pre-launch. If you want access to it, 30 days of free access to CREsync, make sure you grab it. So 2 leads a day for your sellers. Right now, here, very important one, which a lot of people mess up, which is true offers. Okay, I don't care how many times or how many deals you have to pitch in order to hit this goal, which it might be a lot, but you have to, your true offers. That means you've pitched out to buyers a bunch of deals. You called up a buyer and you said, hey, I've got a deal for you. Do you have 2 minutes? Are you in front of a computer? I'll talk about a deal. And you have to try to get at least 1 per day. 1 offer written from a buyer per day. Okay? 1 offer from a buyer a day. Guess what? That's not easy to do, and you get to try to do that every single day. If you do this, minimally, you're going to see major levels of success in your business. It's near impossible to hit each one of these and not make more money. And if you're still doing all these things and you're not making more money, I would beg to tell you that you're not tracking your metrics. Okay, raise your standards. Last one, which is track your metrics. Okay. Now, all these things, by the way, if you do them in the CRM, it already is going to track it for you. But if you don't do it in your CRM, you got to track it through a dashboard. You can create a Google Drive, Google Sheets dashboard, does not matter, whatever it is. But the point is, you have to do these few things if you want to see, this is just number one of several things we're going to talk about today of how to ensure you hit your goals this year. Okay. Number one is raising the standards. Okay. Number two, let's get super tactical for a second. Okay. You must be looking for focus on clear path deals. Okay, this is a huge one, and so many people forget it. If you're trying to make money this year, which, by the way, it's November 2nd. Tomorrow's November 3rd. So, you're not going to get into attorney review today because no attorney's responding to you today. So it's basically going to be November 3rd, and no one's going to even work. You have to close the deal. Okay, I'm going to look at my calendar real quick. You have to close your deal because no one's going to work that final week basically at all. Because this is crazy. Because you got Christmas on Thursday. That means basically Christmas Eve is Wednesday. Christmas Day is Thursday. You have a working day on Friday the 26th. And then you got Monday, Tuesday. And then you got Wednesday, which is New Year's. Okay, New Year's Eve. So you're basically going to have the 29th and 30th to maybe squeeze in a closing, maybe the 26th the week before. So what this tells me is that you're going to really have the first 3 weeks of December. So if you're not really closed by, let's just say, the 19th of December, it's going to be very hard to close that week after. Okay. So you realistically have 19 days plus, let's just say another, let's see here. We're just actually going to count Monday through Fridays. So you got 15 days of December, working days, by the way, is what we're counting. You have 15 days of December, and you got 18 days of this month. So you got 18. Yeah, I mean, guys, you got like 33 working days if you don't include Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, if you include everything else, you basically got about 50 days. Okay, you got about 50 days in order to get a deal closed right now. 50 days, which means if you got a deal that needs 45 days to close, can you close on it? The answer is yes. Okay, and then obviously if you have some quicker closes like a 3-week close or a 4-week close, you can still close this year. So you must focus on deals with a clear path, which essentially is going to be focusing on a few things here, right? Which is underwriting and really understanding the numbers. right? Does the deal have a clear path? Does that deal make sense? Because if you're focused on deals that make no sense, right, if they are way off on price, you're probably not going to make any money. So right now, if you want to close a deal, you need to ensure the deal that you're spending time on, the numbers pencil, right? Does the deal pencil, right? / does it work? Right? Does it make money? What are my odds, right, on this chart here? What are my odds of closing, right? If this is closing and this is like the odds of closing. If we're like a no over here and 100% sure over here, and we're right here, stop wasting time. If you're like, you got to be anywhere like this is the halfway point, right? You got to be as close as possible to over here, or you should not be spending any time, energy, and effort on these deals. Okay, especially if you're trying to close this year. If you're trying to close that deal next year, it's fine, right? If you got enough money and you can wait till next year, fine. If you're trying to make money right now, today, like immediately, if the odds are not nearly 100%, like 80 plus percent that you're going to make money on this deal and this deal is going to close, this is not something I would waste a bunch of time on right now. Okay, it could be something you follow up with, but you just got to understand, like, it's probably not going to close this year. I want things that are maybe even 90% plus, like likelihood to close ASAP, okay? The better the quality of the deal, the higher likelihood we have that we're going to close on it, okay? That's what we want. Does it have a clear path? What is the odds of us closing on that deal? That's the big piece of this, okay? Because if it's got a low likelihood of closing, a lot of us spend too much time. We're like, you got deals that are here. They're overpriced. They're not that motivated. And you're like, hey, but I can get them to list the property, and then over time I can get them to come down in price. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. What you need to do is you need to focus on the people who want to sell, who are motivated to sell, and will sell for a fair and reasonable price. Because when you do that, you're going to have the highest likelihood of closing something fast, putting money in your pocket, okay? When you're in my position and you can wait a month or two for a commission check, or 3 or 5 or a year, fine, right? But you're not. You're probably not in that position. So what you get to do is you get to focus on stuff that has the highest likelihood of closing and focus all your energy here and trying to get it converted. Okay? Just like we talk about raising your standards, pitch out the deals. And if you're getting offers, like again, when you're pitching deals, okay? Let's talk about pitching deals for a second. Which this is a big one. Okay? When you're pitching deals and you call the person up, it's like and again, the mission, okay? The mission / goal when you're pitching a deal is to what? What do you want to do? What is the purpose when you're pitching a deal? What are you trying to do here? What are you trying to do? The goal is to get an offer. We want a true offer. To get an offer, okay? The mission and the goal is to get an offer. So if you don't get an offer, you didn't accomplish the mission. If you call them up and you pitch them the deal, right? You say, hey, Bob, it's Henry, EXP Commercial. How you doing today? Doing great. Thank you so much. Hey, Bob, listen, I have a deal I want to run by you. Do you have 2 minutes? Yeah, I got some time. Great. Are you in front of a computer? Can you look up something right now? No, I'm in the car. Okay, when are you going to be in the office where you can look up something? I'll be in the office in like 20 minutes. Great. I'll call you back in 20 minutes. We'll review the deal. Cool. You call them up. Let's say now they're in a place where they can look it up. Bob, you in front of the computer? Yes, great. Property address is 123 Main Street. Tell me when you have it up. Okay, I have it up. Well, listen, so this property is a XYZ type of asset class. It's a multifamily. It's a shopping center. It's an industrial building. It's a warehouse. Whatever it is. Okay, it's self-storage. It's a car wash. It's a whatever. This deal it's X amount of square feet. It's priced at X. It's a 7 cap day one, including vacancy management and maintenance based on the expenses that the seller sent over to me. It's got a value add because the rents are under market. You told me that you like value add place. This is below market price per square foot. This is below market price per unit, whatever it is. Okay, like I thought of you because you said that you were looking for this type of product. No, just out of curiosity, based on the information that I mentioned so far, do you feel like this is even in the ballpark of something you'd take a look at? Yes. Okay, great. Let's run some quick numbers. What kind? What information can I get you real quick? Because I just sent you an email. I try to have like a template ready to go. Have a drafted email ready to go. I just sent you an email with more information. Let's review it let's review it right now, and I'll review all the details with him over the phone. And my goal is that within 5 to 6 minutes, okay, sub 10 minutes, I'm getting an offer from this person. Is this even seem like something you would make an offer on? No, it's not in the location I like. Okay, great. Well, listen, I got to call 20 other people. I have to get this sold ASAP. I'll call you back when I have something else better for you, right? Just out of curiosity, what areas would you like, right? What areas would you prefer? What areas would you, 100% be making an offer on? Well, I don't like this area. I would buy in this area. Okay, great. I'll take a note of that. Is there anything else that you would not, that you don't like about this deal? Other than that, I mean, I love the deal. Okay, great. No problem. If I find something in that area, same qualities, I'll make sure I give you a call. Call up the next person who goes, no, this is something that I would make an offer on. Okay, well, look, by the end of this call, my intention is to try to get something in writing so I can present it to the seller because I know we're going to sell this between, either you or one of the next people I'm going to call. So this is something you're serious about. I'd love to get something in writing. Is that something you can make sense of today? Probably. Or I'm going to need more information. I got to talk to my partner. Okay, great. Well, listen, how soon do you feel like we can put something in writing, at least a preliminary letter of intent? Again, I want you to make sure you feel 100% comfortable. But I know we're going to get this property sold, so I'm going to make sure that you're comfortable with it before we put something in writing. But my intention is that the seller is really looking to sell the property. They're looking to retire, they're looking to whatever. And I know that if it's not good for you, no problem. But I know I'm going to get an offer today, right? This is a good price. So what my point is, I'm trying to get an offer. I'm trying to tell them my urgency. I'm giving them urgency. So we do that, right? And by the way, what's important here is get to the point, right? I hate when people just dabble. I hate when they just babble on and they like word vomit all over me. But it's like, look, if it's a multifamily, tell me how many units is it? What's the income? What's the rent roll? What's the price? That's it. I want to know, like, in and out. I want to be done. I want to just get to the point. Because I can run some preliminary numbers. Obviously, like, some people have to plug it into a spreadsheet. Some people got to talk to partners. But I know, like, hey, listen, if you call me up and you go, hey, I got 20 units, XYZ area. They want 250 a unit. They're all one beds. And it's a 6 cap day one. It's not for me. I can already tell you it's not for me. Most likely the 250 units too much. One bedrooms, there's a lot. That means there's probably a lot of in and out movement. 6 cap day one, there's probably, again, a 250 unit. That means that, like, they probably maxed out the rents. I'm going to be making an offer probably, a 9 cap on this deal. It just doesn't make it. There's no value add here. But if you go, hey, I got a 20. They want 100 a door. It's all 2 beds, and it's a 7.5 cap. Day one. I'm very interested. I can tell you real quick. I mean, obviously, depending on the location's garbage. If it's like a D-class location, no. If it's like a B-class location, I'm all over this. I'll probably offer you full price, okay? And I can run numbers later. But what's important to understand is that I can run these numbers pretty quickly, right? Like, this is why I'm saying, give me the details, give me the meat of the situation. Stop, you don't need to go on and on all the demographics, the whatever, the household income. I don't care. Give me the details, right? The bread and butter. Give me the stuff that I need to know right a freaking away. Okay. Get to the point. Next, make sure, right, / confirm I'll even say the buyer, okay, confirm buyer is in a place they can look up property. Okay? Because if they're not in a place they can look up the property, you sound stupid. Let me explain. If I'm in the car, okay, now obviously, I'm a seasoned investor, bought and sold, I've been a part of over $30 million worth of acquisitions and dispositions of properties I've been a principal on. Okay, I can run some quick numbers in my head and I know the market's better than most people. But most investors, when they're not that seasoned, okay, they need to look at it. They need to tangibly see it, feel it, the whole nine, right? So and even me, I like to look up the property. But if you called up an investor and they say, like, oh, I'm in the car with like 3 other people. Yeah, no, tell me about it. I'm listening. No, I'm not doing that. No. When are you going to be in front of a computer and looking up the property? When can you be in a place where we can have, a quiet conversation, a direct conversation, talk about some money? Okay. They need to be in a place where they can look up the property. Do not try to pitch them a deal when they're in a really loud place, when they're in the car. No, you want to make sure they're either at home or in the office where they can look up a property. I don't care if they're looking it up on their phone. That's fine. They can look it up on their phone. What they can't do is that they can't be in the car with 5 other people, their whole family, the kids screaming in the back. Yeah, no, tell me about the deal. Don't do that. Okay? You want to make sure they're in a place, a quiet place, so they can look up the property. And I would even tell you again, have a drafted email ready to go with all the information, ready to click send as soon as they're looking up the property. Great. It's like, okay, the address is 123 Main Street. Awesome. I just sent you an email with all the details. Tell me when you have it open. Boom. All right. And then you just get into the pitch and you start trying to get it. And again, the whole goal is to get a true offer. Do not get off the phone unless you can try to get a true offer, or at least to gauge, are they interested or not? That's all. Are they interested in making an offer? Are they not interested in making an offer? Because the sooner you know and understand, are we moving forward to getting an offer, or are we going farther away from getting an offer? Once you have that understanding, then you know exactly like how much more time do I want to spend on this phone call with this person. Okay? Because sometimes you're like trying to pitch this deal all day long, and then like what I like to do is like say, as soon as I go over the real quick, details about the property, does this seem like something you would probably make an offer on? Does this seem like something you would probably make an offer on? Or is this something that you feel like just doesn't fit your criteria? I want to know right away, as fast as humanly possible. Because if this isn't for you, fine. But I want to know ASAP. And if it's not for you, right, that's fine. And I'm going to clarify what would make it for you, right? What makes this not for you, okay? And if they say that, no, this is something I'd make an offer on, I just have to talk it over with my partner, I can understand that you got to talk to your partner. But based on what you're reading over right now, where do you feel like you'd mentally be? I know you got to confirm with the partner, but where do you feel like you would be on this property price-wise, price and terms-wise? And then once they start getting into it, be like, what would be the best price and terms that you would make sense of putting in writing? What is the best terms you'd be prepared to put in writing? Okay, that's where you need to be as soon as you possibly can. As soon as you get some direction that they're interested in this deal, get something in writing as fast as humanly possible. We talk about raising your standards. I think it's incredibly important, right? We talk about raising your standards. We talked to also making sure that you focus, right? Like number one, raise your standards. We got raise your standards. Your standards are not high enough. You must raise them. Number two, focus, right, on better deals, right? Deals with a clear path. CP, do they have a clear path to closing? Number three, it's like, I'd even just say, we're just talking about pitching deals. Master pitching deals. We talk about this all the time in the coaching communities, right? Pitching deals, making sure you're spending time on deals that have a clear path in pitching deals. Like this type of stuff right here. Because what this is doing here is like raising your standards. This is, this is more leads. This is, that's real. Let's just get down to it, right? Like this is just increasing, right here, the amount of leads. This is increasing leads. This is now filtering those leads, and this is just focusing on the ones that are going to make you money. Okay. Then matching the art of pitching deals is that now that you know that they're going to make you money, this is bringing seller and buyer together. Okay, getting those offers to the table, right? Because number four is now negotiating. Negotiations. Okay, master the art of negotiations. We're going to talk about that real quick because the big problem with negotiating, okay, is that most of you are negotiating the wrong way. Most of you are putting on your letter of intent when you pitch these deals out. Okay, I was just talking with a very high level individual. Okay, they make well over $1 million a year, and they were negotiating the wrong way. In the letters of intent, they were putting 2 or 3% commission on it because they didn't want to make the seller feel some type of way. They felt bad asking for more commissions. Every single time we put a letter of intent together, it's minimum 5%. Most of the time, it's 6%. Okay, we have a letter of intent that we're literally that we literally put together recently, 7% commission. Okay, very, very important. Okay, let me talk about how to negotiate. Okay, we're just going to talk about negotiations. I'm going to come back to this page here. Okay, we're just going to talk about negotiations. Actually, I even have a page built out. This is exact, by the way, you're about to get the exact page that I wrote down with mine. This is a one-on-one coaching student. Okay, they paid a lot of money to work with me. Okay, they paid about $40,000 to work with me. I'm going to show you this page right now. Okay, it's a very important page. He said this was one of the most powerful things we've ever reviewed. So make sure you guys pay attention to this. Okay, when you're negotiating, very important. So let's just start from the very top. Seller wants X price. Doesn't really matter what it is. This is just a hypothetical, but they want X price. I underwrite the deal. I think it's worth $4 to $4.5 million bucks. Okay, I offer him $3 million. I'm going to starter offer them at 3. Price anchor him at $3 million bucks. He counters back to me at $4.5 million. Okay, very important here. He counters back at 4.5. Now, before I pitch this deal out, which by the way, let me move this light real quick because I feel like, yeah, I figured Yeah, there we go. Boom. Okay, cool. There you go. There's no more glare. So seller counter is at 4.5 million bucks. Okay. Now, when we pitch this deal out, this is a key, a very crucial point. You take the pitch out price, which is 4.5, is what he told us, plus your compensation. So I'm going to pitch it out at now $5 million. He wants to net 4.5. I'm going to pitch it out at 5. I'm going to protect my commission. Okay, because the way we're paid is the delta between what a seller wants to net and what a buyer's willing to pay. That is how we are compensated. Okay, so seller wants to net 4.5. I do 4.5 plus my compensation. I'm going to pitch it out at $5 million bucks. Okay, now you go over here. I pitched the deal out. Like I told you, I pitched it out at $5 million. I think it's only worth between $4 and $4.5 million. Our first offers we get from True Offers. I pitched the deal out to my buyers. Let's say they come back at $4 million, 4.2, 4.3. Now, I always verbally go back to the seller and I say, okay, great. I just spoke to a couple clients who I think this could be good for, which, by the way, I'll even tell you, when I pitch the starter offer, this could be you, but you could verbally give them a starter offer, verbal. Hey, I spoke to my buyer, verbal offer. Come down here. You're going to still verbalize the offers, by the way. Hey, best offer I have for you is the offer, okay, the offer that you have here minus compensation. So I don't give him, I don't put the 4.3 in front of him yet because I'm still negotiating. Okay, this is the second round of negotiations. Here's first round. Here's now the second round of negotiations. So I told him I take my offer minus my compensation. So when I talk to the seller, I'm going to offer him whatever my offers are minus compensation. I got to protect my compensation. So I offer him 3.8, even though I have a 4, a 4.2, and a 4.3. Okay, I'm still trying to get the best price for my buyers. The seller now counters finally at 4.2 million. Okay, I'm about to go into my third round of negotiating. Okay, seller now counters at 4.2. He was at 4. He was at 5. Got him down to 4.5. Now he's at 4.2. Okay, I again want to do the same thing we just talked about. We want to take his net number, right? We take the offer plus my compensation, and I go back to my buyers. When I go back to my buyers, I'm then going to make sure that again we want the best terms, the highest certainty of closing, the highest price, and the lowest risk of a deal. That's what we want. Obviously, we're going to be greedy for a moment, right? If we want all of these things, I'm going to go back to my these buyers and try to get the best price and terms possible. Let's say they come back at 4.3, 4.4, 4.5. Okay, I already know we're in the money. Every single one of them, I could either make anywhere between $100,000 and $300,000. Now that 4.5 might be with seller financing, and the seller says they don't want to do seller fi. So I get to look at all these offers and see which one would be the best and most likely for the seller to accept. And I can put all these in front of them. By the way, I don't mind putting these in front of them now and say, hey, listen, I got offers between that net you. And I'll put 6% commission, by the way, on every single one of those offers. So I have something, I'll go back to the seller with the best terms, minus compensation. I'll be like, hey, listen, I have offers that net you between 4.05, or even say 4 million to 4.25 million. Okay. Here are all the terms and here's all the details. You tell me what you'd like to do. And I present all the offers now in writing to them. And I want to confirm the terms are good, confirm my compensation is good. Okay, and then that's how we get to an acceptance. But the big mistake that a lot of people make is that what they do here is that when they pitch the deal out, the seller says 4.5, they pitch the deal out at 4.5. Then all of a sudden they get an offer at 4.3, and then they present the 4.3, and the seller goes, listen, I told you I wanted 4.5, I wasn't going to pay any commission on it, and you have no idea. And this is why you sometimes get trapped only making 2%, and we can make 4, 5, or 6% almost every time. I'm just going to go through some questions, by the way. What if they do not want to pay commission? Might happen to most of us based on your relation. Yeah. So what happens here is that, like, look, if they're not willing to pay your commission, this is why you talk about net numbers when you're talking to a seller. Net after compensation. You always say that. I have an offer that nets you X. Okay? Because that way you can confirm and make sure you understand that you're only going to get paid on the net. Okay? If seller goes, no, I said that I need to net 4.5, right? Let's say here, the seller needs to net 4.5 and my highest offer is 4.5. Because listen, the best possible offer that I have for you is a net to you of 4.3. And he's like, well, I'm not willing to take 4.3. Okay, well, listen, I have an offer right now that will net you 4.3. How much commission would you pay? I told you I need net 4.5. Well, look, obviously, if my buyer's at 4.5 and you're at 4.5, I'm not going to make 0. So I'm going to tell my buyer to buy something else unless you're willing to pay me at least 2% commission. All right? I mean, 2% is what, and again, I try to squeeze in some commission. Like we just did a deal for $10.5 million that we closed last month. We made $200,000, right? Like, he was willing to pay us 2%. And then, basically the day of closing, he was like, hey, I told you that I'd only pay you 200 grand, not 2 million, not 210,000. Okay. And he ended up taking another 10K off. But like, we said, who cares at this point? Let's just get a deal done. But this is why we always talk, when we talk to a seller, it's always a net to seller. And whenever we talk to a buyer, it's always the net to seller plus my compensation. Okay. And I always like to round up, by the way, to make sure we're always protected. Okay. This is how you negotiate deals and protect your compensation. Okay. So let's go back here. Let's go back. Okay. Now we understand how to negotiate. Okay. I think this is here. So that this, by the way, the negotiations is that now that you connected, you're working on connecting buyer and seller. This is so that you can make the most money possible. Okay. Right. So because what happens here is that by you being a great negotiator, you allow yourself to make, call it 2 or 3 times the industry average. Okay. A lot of your competition is only making 1 or 2 or 3% on deals when you can make 4, 5, or 6% on deals. Okay. If you're a master negotiator, if you understand how to, the way that I negotiate, you will ensure you make more money. Okay. Number 5, okay, is get support. Get support. Okay. Which again, by the way, if you have not yet done so, okay, down in the description below, we have 2 things that are very important. One is you have 30 days today is the soft launch of CREsync, my custom built CRM system. Okay. In the description down below, make sure you get 30 days. You can get right today. You can get 30 days of free access to CREsync. Make sure you take full advantage of it. It's got my custom built out automations for your seller leads and your buyer leads. Everything's in there. It's got all the tags you need to be successful. It's got your commercial real estate pipeline stages already built out. It's got all these automations built into it. All you have to do is connect your set up your account, connect your card, and what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to convert at a really, really high level. It's all campaigns that are built out by me. You get 30 days free access by downloading it today. That's number 1. And number 2, if you're looking to take off in 2026 and have the best start to next year as possible, obviously we're talking about how to raise your standards right now and how to capture the last remaining parts of this year in 2025. But make sure you attend the business planning workshop in the description down below. You can register. You can pre-register for the business planning workshop, which is December 10th at 12 noon Eastern. Okay, make sure you block off that time on your calendar. We're going to be live on YouTube, but if you pre-register today, if you pre-register at all, you're going to gain access to my private Zoom room after the training. We're going to be able to do, it's going to be probably an hour or 2 hours of private Q&A with me after the training to make sure you get all your questions answered. So down in the description down below, make sure you take advantage and pre-register. Like we already have 50 pre-registrations. I'm going to cut it off at probably 500, which I know that, we haven't even done like a big launch of it yet, but we're going to be getting up there. So make sure that you guys pre-register. You're going to get access to the Zoom room, and again, you're going to get access to a free digital copy of my book. You're going to get access to the private Zoom room. You're going to get access to our script book 2.0, which is coming out. Lots of cool, awesome bonuses that you're going to get by making sure you pre-register. So make sure you do so. Let's talk about getting support. So getting support looks like this. If you have not hired, if you're already, let's say, for those of you who are already making, let's just say you're making 200 grand a year and you're like, hey, I feel stuck in this position. I want to make more money. You have to get support. What does that specifically look like? Let's bring this here for a second, right? So getting support looks like the following. So number 1 is getting, hiring a VA, right? And actually, let's do it this way. First hire, let's just do this, 1, 2, 3. First hire is a TC, a transaction coordinator. You must hire a transaction coordinator. If you haven't hired a transaction coordinator, you can pay them on a per transaction basis. You make sure they're a licensed agent. It really is pretty simple. You can pay them $500 to $1,000 a closing, pay them 50% up front and 50% when they close. Very simplistic move, but you hire a transaction coordinator. This should give you anywhere between 5 and 20 hours a week back, right? Easily, they're just going to take 5 to 20 hours a week off your plate. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is hire a lead manager. This is going to be a VA. Okay. This person is going to manage your database. Obviously, if you get CREsync, they can manage your database for you. Make sure everyone is on a tag. Make sure everyone's in the right stage. Make sure every single person's on a campaign, and make sure every single person's contact information is correct. Okay, that's all they're going to do. And they're going to make sure also, lastly, by the way, number 5 is that they're going to make sure that every single task is completed. So you obviously will set up a task to follow up with the person, call the person. And if it's not done today, they're going to move it to tomorrow. This person, by the way, should be saving you another 5 to 20 hours a week. Okay, very easily. So just these 2 positions could save you 10 to 40 hours a week. These 2 positions. Okay, and you're going to pay this person, by the way, this person can get paid $150 to $250 per week. Okay, that's how much you're going to pay them. $150 to $250 a week. You could pay this person $500 to $1,000, $1K per transaction. Okay, very affordable positions, by the way. If you're already making $200 grand a year, these are going to be very important to do. Okay, hire somebody here, $500 to $1,000 per transaction, 50% up front. Just do it a 50-50 model, 50 up front, 50 when it closes. Okay. Your lead manager, which is a virtual assistant, you're going to pay them $150 to $250 a week. Very easy. These 2 positions, again, are going to save you 10 to 40 hours a week. They're going to save you 10 to 40 hours a week. So you can take all that extra time and dump it into raising your standards, generating more leads, okay? And last position here, you could just call them an admin, which is another VA. Let's just do this. There's another VA. This person here is going to handle all the executive assistant type of stuff. This person is going to be another 5 to 20 hours a week put back into your schedule, because this person is going to be another $150 to $250 a week. Again, you should not be doing any of this. This is when you're making basically $200K plus per year. Okay? If you're making $200K plus a year, you can start hiring these positions. And you hire them in this order: TC, then lead manager, then your admin. The admin, by the way, is going to do a bunch of things. They're going to do your emails. They're going to manage your email. They're going to manage your calendar. Okay? They're also going to manage like all the small tasks. Okay? They can also handle your social media. So small tasks, as an example, I don't write my own letters of intent. I send all the details I need to my VA, my virtual assistant, okay? To my, call it an executive assistant role here. I send her a little note. She fills it out. She gets it signed, and then she makes sure she puts it in my email so I can talk to the seller about it or the buyer about it. Okay, so she can handle all these small little tasks. Okay, whether it's writing up a letter of intent, communicating with my VA about my tasks, making sure all my stuff in my calendar is presented to me. I never miss a meeting because of this person. She reminds me, hey, last time you spoke to this person, this is exactly what happened. So if I have a meeting, let's say I have a follow-up meeting and I forget what I had on the previous meeting, she took notes. She finds that meeting. She takes all the notes that she took on that previous meeting and she sends it to me so I can be most prepared on my next meeting. Okay. And she has all this type of stuff. If I have to do a lead follow-up, she'll go, hey, you have to call these 3 people. Here are the most recent notes that you took about these people and how the conversation went. Right? If I'm on Zoom, she's just on Zoom with me. So I sit on Zoom all day long and she just listens to my day. She's always there. I'm like, hey, can you do this for me? And she'll automatically do it. It's like, if this person's right next to me, she does not talk to me unless absolutely necessary. I just get to do my work, right? If she's got a question, she'll raise her hand. And when I have a moment, I'll go to her. It's very simplistic. You just sit on Zoom all day long. Very easy. Okay. These 3 positions, you get 500 to 1,000 per transaction, 150 to 250 a week, and 150 to 250 a week. These 3 positions, okay? These three positions can save you now 15 to 60 hours a week of nonsense. These 3 positions, and it will total cost you like 40 or 50 grand a year. But imagine all that extra compounded time, okay? All this extra compounded time, which, by the way, I'm just going to try to do this. No, that didn't work. All that extra compounded time where you can put it now into your lead generation. You could raise your standards now, okay? You have the ability to raise your standards because you took all the time from the people that you just hired because you're making 200. This is how I take people from 200 to 400 in 12 months. Then I take people from 150 to 600K a year in 12 months. It does not have to be difficult, okay? You just focus on the few things that make you a lot of money and you end up making more money, right? It's not overly complex. Let's go to some questions real quick. Surreal says, what if they want to net $4 million, but you solidify a deal to sell it at 4.5 at 6%, and the seller finds out what you're selling it for? Explain this process. Okay. What you're saying right now, I'm going to go to this example real quick. So you're saying, as an example, Surreal says, again, if you have a deal, seller wants to net $4 million bucks. So let's just say seller counters here at 4 million, and then you're saying that you have a deal at 4.5 and you're trying to make at 6% commission. What happens here is that I would just wholesale the deal. You're making enough money to wholesale the deal, and the seller's not going to find out, because I would just lock it up to wholesale it. Okay, because if you have right here, as an example, again, let's just say that you offered 3 million, they said they 4.5, they come back and you got them down to 4 million bucks. Okay, so seller net, they want $4 million. Okay, and then you have a buyer. Buyer's willing to pay. Let's just do that. Buyer offer, okay, is 4.5 million. You have a delta, obviously, right? These two prices, there's a delta here. This is where we're going to get paid. So in this situation, I would go to the seller and say, hey, I have an offer, right? So I would lock it up. So me, okay, I would then go to the seller at 4 million. Okay, I'd lock him up into a deal, right? I give him a deposit, whatever it is. Okay, and then I would now take my contract and I go to the buyer at 4.5 million. I do this all the time. This is called wholesaling. I literally have a deal right now. I have a deal that I'm working on right now. Seller's willing to accept 5 million, and I have a buyer at 5.5 million. So it's $500,000. The difference here is that I want to buy the deal at 5 million because I think it'll be worth 8. So it makes more sense for me to just buy it and keep it versus wholesale for 500. I think I can make 2 million bucks. Okay. However, in this situation, you could just wholesale it, right? Which, by the way, all you're going to do here is that you have your seller contract, right? You have your seller contract, and then you have your buyer contract. Okay, right? This is A, and this is I'll even say it this way, and then you have C, okay? Because you're B, which is in the middle. Actually, hold on one second. Okay. So you have your buyer, you have you, and you have your seller contract. Okay? Because this is A, you're B, and this is the buyer contract is C. So you're going to contract for 4 million. 4 million, 25K deposit. Okay, let's say 45-day DD and 45-day close. Okay? You then take this contract, this is a piece of paper, and then you bring it to your buyer, which now signs at 4.5 million. Bigger deposit, so we're going to get him to put down 100 grand. Okay, 100 grand, and then we're going to do a 30-day DD and then a 30-day close. And that's how this works. And then you make the delta. Now, obviously, when you double close, this is a double close. Okay, this double closing, you go to the closing at the end of the day, and you are going to pay 4 million. And if you have the right title company, this is what I do, is that my title company basically takes all the funds here, and I have to put down this 25K deposit, by the way. I put out of pocket 25K. My buyer gives out 100K, so just in case he defaults, I keep his 100, even though my seller keeps my 25. Okay, so I'm going to double close. So at closing, I'm obviously going to have my own closing costs, but he's going to have his closing costs, right? So I'm probably going to net out after the 4.5 million. I'll probably net out maybe 400K. I'm probably going to pay 100K in closing costs, right? I might even pay more than that. I might pay, my closing costs might be 150K, right? So I'll make 350K. This is why, like, again, it's got to make sense. Because, like, even here, it starts getting kind of iffy. It is going to cost you probably, because you got transfer taxes. The state of New Jersey is very high, right? So you have to be very, very careful here. Where, like, it might not even make sense to double close. I might just take 250 with no risk, right? But again, if hypothetically instead of 4.5, it's 5 million, right? Let's say it's 5 million. Okay, at 5 million, my closing costs are, call it maybe 200K. Okay, it's like 200K for closing costs, but I got 800K in profit, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to wholesale this deal all day long. Now, unless this deal might be worth if this property is going to be worth 10 million, I might just buy it. But if this property is only going to be worth 6 million and this guy feels great about buying it for 5, I'm going to take 800K and have a nice day. Okay. But that's exactly what I mean here. Rudy says, any issues on deals with mansion taxes being a roadblock? Yeah, again, you have to be paying attention to what your closing costs are. Because if your closing costs are going to be again, in California, mansion tax is crazy number. This is why it might just make sense to just take a broker fee. Okay, we got a question here. It says, I'm with LPT. I'm the only broker I've worked with. Aside from making me commercial, are there any other commercial brokerages you'd recommend for an agent? Yeah, I mean, look, I obviously I'm a little bit biased, but yeah, I think EXP does a great job. They don't micromanage you. It has the best compensation plan, a bonus, and basically any brokerage I've been a part of. But I think they do a very, very good job. But you could be a part of many, many different brokerages. Obviously, you can email me info@henryeisenstein.com, and actually in the description down below, you can see there's a link that you can book a call about EXP. If you have any questions, we can talk about it. I don't hard pitch anybody. Again, I don't think it's the bee's knees. I think they do a good job. That's why I'm here. So, but there's a lot of different options out there. Great question. So again, for those of you who are interested in leveling up this year, a couple of free, down in the description, make sure you take full advantage of CREsync. Okay. It's a, 30 days free access to CREsync. It's my custom built CRM system. This is a soft launch. We have not done a crazy big launch. We're going to do a big launch later this year. But if you're interested in gaining access to CREsync, make sure you do so. Down in the description down below, it's 30 days free access to my CRM system. Custom built campaigns, custom tags, custom pipeline stages, everything you're going to need to succeed in commercial real estate. It's all there for you. All you have to do is sign up and get 30 days of free access. Number 2, if you have not yet pre-registered for the business planning workshop, make sure you do so. Down in the description below, it's absolutely free. It's going to be on YouTube free. You can watch it there. But if you want free, private access to my Zoom room, which is free, you just have to pre-register and you'll get the Zoom room link. And we're going to do a private Q&A session afterwards. It's also in the description down below. So make sure you pre-register to that as well. We're going to open it up for Q&A. These are the main things that I would tell you to focus on for the end of the year, because so many people are still struggling right now, and they're not going to achieve their goals, and strictly because they're not doing the right activities here. Okay, hold on, I'll bring this up again. I'm just trying to erase the bottom here. If you have any questions, let's go to questions. If you have any specific questions, let's make sure we dive on in. Okay? Get support. If you're making $200K a year, you got to be getting support. Okay? It is time to hire. It is time to hire if you're making $200K a year. Who's got some questions specifically? Guys, if you want to dominate for the rest of this year, very important. We're going to talk about way more in depth in the business planning workshop, December 10th, 12 noon Eastern. Make sure you block off your calendars and pre-register. But raise your freaking standards, guys. Whatever you're doing right now has gotten you the results you've gotten in 2025. If you're not thrilled with those results, you must do something different if you want something different out of your life. Okay? This is about generating more leads, making more phone calls, spending more time on lead generation. Whatever amount of time you're doing right now, I would minimally say 2x it, right? So this is I would say minimally 2x. If not, I would tell you to do way more than that, okay? If you're not making, by the way, if you're not working 6 hours a week, if you're not working 6 days a week right now, okay, if your bank account pisses you off and you're not working 6 days a week, it's your own fault. It's your own fault. No matter what, by the way, it's your fault. We get to lay in the bed at night. Everything I have in my life is my fault. The good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Everything is our fault. But, again, if you're not working 6 days a week, I don't know what else to tell you. If you're pissed off at your bank account, right, and you're not working, call it, 10 plus hours a day, I think you're just working part-time. Number 2, focus on better deals. So many people in the commercial real estate business spend too much time on the deals that don't make any money. What are your thoughts on commercial real estate market on to 2026? I am super freaking optimistic. I am so freaking optimistic about the commercial real estate business in 2026. I think we're primed to have an amazing year. I'm excited. Rudy says, what time is the event on December 10th? 12 noon Eastern. So it's 9 a.m. PST, 12 noon EST. Okay. Business planning workshop, December 10th, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. PST. Okay. West Coast, 9 a.m. Okay. Focus on better deals. So many people in the commercial real estate business don't understand how to underwrite properties. So they spend so much freaking time, energy, and effort on deals that make no sense. Okay. Or you can even say here, they focus on the, like, you know, and even when it comes into the wrong buyers, they focus on the wrong people, they focus on the wrong deals, and they focus too much time on a buyer who actually is not going to buy anything. These are two of the worst things you can be doing in the commercial real estate business. In the commercial real estate business, it's all about energy and effort on the deals that are actually going to end up closing. Okay. If it does not have a clear path to closing, right, you're going to have a very tough time making money, especially because, guys, we're already, you know, tomorrow's going to be November 3rd. It's going to be the first Monday of the month, right? So if you're not, you know, focused on things that are actually going to make some money, you're going to struggle this year to make money in this business. Okay. Like, you're going to struggle to put some deals together. So I highly recommend that you focus on the deals that are actually going to pencil. If it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. Okay. Number 3, master the art of pitching deals. So many of you guys are not even getting an offer a day. So many of you guys are not even getting an offer written up a week. You're not even getting an offer written up a week. If you're not getting an offer written up a week, I don't understand what you think is going to happen in your business. If you're not getting any offers on your properties and you're relying on other brokers to bring you offers on your deals, you're going to struggle financially. Somebody says, what's your specialty? I do commercial real estate investment sales. I do investment sales. If it makes money, I sell it, right? Last month, we sold a multifamily apartment building. We sold a mobile home park. We sold a motel, and we sold a hotel, and we sold a small little retail spot, okay? So over $30 million in deals last month closed. We double-ended every deal. Right? You know, we have over 20 deals in contract right now. Yeah, I do investment sales. Anything that makes money, I sell it. Okay. Mastering the art of pitching deals. Guys, like, this is where, again, your objective is to try to get an offer each and every single day. If you're not getting an offer every single day in your business, I don't know what you're doing, right? Like, this, the whole purpose of our business, if you boil it down to something, it's to generate seller leads. Okay. And then getting offers on those leads. It's all seller, right? I mean, I'll even say it even easier. Okay. I'd say it's lead gen. Okay. Lead gen and then offer gen. This is the whole business. Lead gen, offer generation. That's all this business is about, guys. If you're not generating leads, seller leads, and you're not generating offers, you're not making money. Okay. Lead generation, offer generation. That's your day. Make it easy. Aside from ChatGPT, what AI tools are you currently using? So, I mean, look, guys, I don't think there's a lot of AI tools that are going to, you know, you're not going to AI your way out of making money right now. So if you're not lead generating, I would tell you stop worrying about AI for a second, because you're not making any money anyways. If you're already making good money and you want to figure out your systems, because before I even dive into this, by the way, I was listening to this post, which I thought was so smart. It was like, these people are trying to figure out their systems and their processes. And they're like, oh, let me figure out my business. So, you know, I gotta, you know, in order to grow my business, I need systems and processes. But, like, you're not even making 200 grand a year. If you're not making 200 or 300 grand a year, what systems and processes do you have to fix? You have no lead. Like, your leads are your problem. You just get on the phone and generate some sales. Like, you have a sales problem. You don't have a systems problem, right? And if you want to solve all your systems, you can literally just download CREsync for 30 days free and, you know, test it out. I mean, like, it just, everything, you know, it answers everything. But besides ChatGPT, you know, which is a big one, by the way, and we custom built that projects and other AI. We built out an AI tool with ChatGPT that we utilize all the time. We uploaded all of our information into ChatGPT, like our entire database, all of our buyers, all of our sellers, all of the deals we've ever closed, everything, every closed deal in CoStar in the last 5 years. Every bit of detail about zoning codes and everything like that for New Jersey. We built that all out, built that all out so that our agents could have something to utilize, for underwriting properties, finding buyers, finding sellers, all that kind of stuff. It's all built out through ChatGPT. But other than really that, I mean, like, guys, like, you could do the Zoom recording tools, and like there's all these other tools out there where for realistically, I would tell you so many of those things that are that you could use that have AI functionality, they're just unnecessary right now. Like, they're just super, super freaking unnecessary. And I honestly don't even feel like talking about it much. I have a video coming out actually that talks about a bunch of different AI tools, so you can make sure you can watch that. But it's like these people are, I'm not saying you specifically, but I feel like a lot of people focus too much on AI when their business isn't even like at a place where like they're trying to make, they're like making 50 grand a year and they're like, what AI tools are you using? I'm not saying that's you. I'm not saying that, but I was dealing with that a lot in the last 2 weeks. So I'm like, it's just a funny thing to get asked right now because I'm like thinking about that the whole time. But it's like, honestly, if you're at like 200-300 grand a year, you can start working on your systems and processes. Fine. But most of the time, like until you're even at like 300 to 500 a year, I don't know why you need to work on systems and processes. You have a sales problem. Very simply put, you have a sales problem. Okay. Now, again, for pitching deals, so many of you guys are, number one, pitching bad deals. Number two, you're pitching the wrong buyers, right? So you're a couple things. You're not pitching deals enough because you don't have any deals because you don't lead generate. Two, you're pitching the wrong, pitching bad deals, and the buyers think you're silly and you don't know what you're talking about. Number three, you're pitching the wrong, you're pitching the wrong guys, the wrong buyers, right? You have a guy who goes, hey, I want to buy multifamily, and you call him up and he goes, hey, I'm actually not, this deal isn't for me, even though he talked about being such a player, right? I don't work with first-time investors, by the way. I do not work with first-time investors. I like working with people who are seasoned pros who want to buy 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 deals a year. If the opportunity arose, they already own 4, 5, or 6, or 10, or 20 deals already. Those are the people I like to work with. So make sure you pitch the right deals. That'll actually make you money, right? You need to have a lot of these deals on the pipeline. They have to be qualified deals, and make sure you're pitching the right buyer. And by the way, you don't stop pitching until you get a true offer, by the way. And I would even tell you until you have like 2 or 3 true offers. You don't just stop at one. Number 4, master the art of negotiations. Master the art of negotiations. When you're negotiating a deal, if you're speaking to a seller, it's a net number to them. All right, you always speak in terms of net dollars to sellers. If you're talking to a buyer, it's net dollars to seller plus compensation. Okay, so if a seller wants to net $4 million and you got an offer for $4 million on the deal, you say, hey, I have an offer that nets you 3.8. Okay, and if you're talking to a buyer and the seller wants to net $4 million, you say, hey, this deal is offered to you right now at 4.3. The seller wants 4.3 million. This way you can always ensure that your compensation is protected. Last but not least, for those of you who are already making 200K plus, and if you're not making 200K plus, focus on 1 through 4. Focus on 1 through 4. If you're over 200K, start hiring. Get yourself a transaction coordinator, somebody you can literally pay on a per transaction basis, $500 to $1,000 a closing. This is going to open up your time, right? It's going to save you 5 to 20 hours a week. After you get your TC, right? TC is number 1. Next, you're going to get a lead manager, okay? And then you're going to get an executive assistant / admin. These 2 are VAs, right? TC can be a licensed. You want to make sure they're a licensed agent. So a lead manager is going to be a VA. They're going to be managing your database. Make sure that every task gets completed, every lead, all the contact information is correct. They're in the right stage of the pipeline. All of them have the right tags, right? Like all that information is proper and correct. All that information is, in your CRM, and everything's clean and organized. Your admin is going to take care of all the small tasks. They're going to manage your calendar, manage your email, handle things like drafting up a letter of intent, handling things like making sure that all your tasks get done, making sure every meeting you're on time and you're not missing anything. They take notes of everything. I don't like using like Fathom or the note taker BS for the Zoom calls. I'd rather have a VA who collects that information because we use Note Taker and we use Fathom. They take all that information, they keep it, and then they remind me of all that information in bullet point formats, right? They go through it and they organize it for me so I only spend the time I need to spend on that kind of stuff. Okay, this is how you finish the year strong. And by the way, if you're looking to minimally double your income in 2026, make sure you do 2 things for me. In the description down below, you must take full advantage of CREsync. It's my new custom-built CRM system. It's got all of my follow-up systems, my follow-up campaigns. It's got my buyer follow-up campaigns and my the cold lead follow-up campaigns already custom built out for you by me. Okay, it has automatic emails, automatic text messages, ringless voicemails. It has all that kind of stuff already built into the CRM system. It's got my custom tags, and it's got the pipeline stages already built out to it. All you have to do is get it. It's 30 days free access. Make sure it's 30 days free. Very important. So make sure you guys get that access today. We're going to do, everyone who takes full advantage of this kind of stuff, there's going to be some other cool freebies that we're going to be giving away with CREsync. So make sure you get access to it right away. Number 2, if you have not yet pre-registered for the business planning workshop, December 10th at 12 noon Eastern time, make sure you block it off on your calendars. You have to pre-register down below if you want private free access to the Q&A that we're going to do after the workshop. Because the business planning workshop is going to be between 2 and 3 hours. And then we're going to do a private Zoom call, Q&A style on Zoom. So if you guys want to have access to that, you also want a free access to my new book that's going to be coming out. You're going to get a digital copy of that, as well as a free copy of my script book 2.0. So make sure you pre-register. Both are in the description down below. Make sure you check that out. All right, another question. How many calls did you make in year 1 to 3 of my career? How many cold calls did I make per week, honestly? So my first year I made like none because I was terrified to make cold calls. And then towards the end of that year, I started making about maybe 200 to 300 dials a day. And then by year 2, like full time, like when I was like, I'm going to make this like my full thing, I was making between 500 and 1,000 dials a day, 6 days a week. You know, my best year ever, I think I did like 130, 140,000 dials in a year. And the way that happened, by the way, is that, think about it like this, guys. I work 6 days a week, and I was going between 50 and 100 conversations a day. So that means I was making between 500, okay, to 1,000 calls a day, dials, okay, 500 to 1,000 dials a day. So let's just take, let's say a low average of 400 dials a day on average times 6. That means I was making 2,400 calls a week times I did not take time off except for literally like super high holidays, and I still basically worked every single day or didn't take any vacations. So I take that and I do times, let's do 50 weeks, right? That conservatively is 120,000 dials a year. And I think I did like 130 or 140,000 that year, right? $400 a day, 6 days a week. I mean, that's just what it is. That's what it takes. That's just what it takes. We're going to finish this with some Q&A. I got 10 more minutes for you guys. We got Q&A, so if you have any questions, drop in the chat box down below. I'm going to go through some Q&A. Who's got some questions? I'm just going to keep going through here. Go through some Q&A. If you have any questions. What's the best way to get started with your team, transfer a license or anything like that? Yeah. If you're interested in joining with us, make sure you send me either in the description down below. You can book a call, the EXP link, or email me at info@henryeisenstein.com. And I'd love to chat with you guys about possibly joining the team. We're always looking for great talent. Info@henryeisenstein.com. Just do team in the subject line, and we can coordinate a call, or down in the description down below, you can book a call. Where am I getting my leads from? Great question. So we pull lead lists from Reonomy and a couple other different softwares. IDI. You can pull it from a lot of different places. Like again, PropStream, CREsync, Reonomy, CoStar, the main 4. And then you can skip trace it through a software called like IDI or Batch Skip or Batch Leads. A lot of different places like that. Great questions. What else we got? Who else has some questions? What other questions do we got? You are so knowledgeable. Thank you for that. Where do I sign up for the business planning workshop? In the description down below. If you're interested in joining the business planning workshop, December 10th, 12 noon Eastern, down in the description down below, you must pre-register if you want access to the private Zoom room, where we're going to do a private Q&A afterwards. What does CREsync include? Okay, so in the custom-built CRM system, so it's a Go high-level white-labeled version that I custom-built myself. It has all the automations you could possibly need. So it has all my follow-up campaigns for shorter-term follow-up or long-term. I think it goes for almost 10 years. I think it goes 10 years, okay, into the future. I think it's the longest one that we have. I think it lasts like 4,000 days, okay? It's the longest long-term follow campaign with his automatic text messages, automatic emails, and ringless voicemails, all custom-built by me. All the tags, so you can organize your database with your buyers and sellers and different asset classes. All that's already done. You can even know it's for leasing as well, so you can have that all tagged up. And it has my pipeline stages. Also, it has a follow-up campaign for buyers, and it has a follow-up campaign for cold leads. So if you want to do cold text message campaigns, you can also do that through the CRM system. All that is custom built out already set for you, ready to go. So all you have to do is click the link down below, 30 days of free access, and then it's $297 after that per month. By the way, anybody who downloads the script, by the way, if you get access to CREsync, we're going to do a 1 hour, anybody who gets CREsync in the next 30 days, okay, before our launch, and actually it's going to, it's also going to take place, we're going to have a huge launch day as well. But if you take advantage of CREsync over the next 30 days, we're also going to give a few lucky people some bonuses. So, some of you are going to get, access to a free one-on-one call with me. Some of you guys are going to get, a bunch of free courses. Some of you guys are going to, we're already going to give you access in the next 30 days to a school room, like a school community of everybody who's a part of CREsync. So lots of cool stuff to come. So obviously I would tell you to make sure you guys grab your free version of CREsync for the next 30 days. You're going to get access for free. Make sure you guys check that out. It's in the description down below. Or you can just go to getcresync.com. Go to getcresync.com. 30 days free. What other questions we got? Again, if you guys want to make more money before the end of the year, right? I don't care what business you're in, by the way. Spend more time on sales. This is what it is. Raise your level, raise your standards, right? Spend more time on sales. If you're not making at least 200 grand a year, I'm speaking to you right now, okay? Raise your freaking standards. Generate more leads in the next 60 days than you ever had in your entire life. It's going to be November 3rd tomorrow, okay? Because I'm imagining you're not prospecting right now if you're watching me right now on YouTube, right? Go generate more leads than you ever have in the next 60 days, okay? You got between now and the end of the year, plus a couple days off for high holidays. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, you got New Year's, you got Hanukkah, whatever it is you're celebrating. Your goals, so whatever you're doing right now for lead gen, double the amount of time, double the amount of calls, double the amount of leads you're generating on an average daily basis. You're going to make more money. Number 2, focus on deals that make more sense. Focus on the ones that will actually make you money, not deals that are overpriced. Because if it's overpriced, you're not going to make money this year. Okay, you're just going to be wasting time. I want deals that have a clear path to making money, not the ones that are overpriced or not motivated. Very important to pay attention to, okay? Master the art of pitching deals. The goal here is to get an offer on the call. And if you're not getting an offer every single day or at least once a week, guys, think about how crazy this is. If you're not getting an offer once a week, that means you're generating less than 2 offers, right? Or less than 3 offers per month, right? On average, you're going to have to present at least somewhere between 5 and 10 offers a month in order to get one accepted. Okay, so you need to double or triple or quadruple the amount of offers you're getting, and that's only going to happen because you spend more time on pitching deals. You got to spend more time on lead gen, and you got to spend more time on offer generation. Those are the 2 main tasks of a commercial real estate agent. Number 4, negotiations. Learn how to negotiate just like me, where we can. This is how we lock down on average 4%, 5%, and 6% commissions each and every single time. Because when I talk to a seller, I talk to them in terms of net to them. When I talk to a buyer, it is net to seller plus compensation. So if a seller wants to net $4 million and I speak and I want to pitch it to a buyer, I'm pitching it to him at 4.25, 4.3, 4.5. So I am making sure I have a delta, which is where my compensation comes into play. And if I get an offer on a deal, let's say for $4 million, I go to the seller and I present them the offer verbally first, and I say to them, hey, I have an offer that nets you $3.75 million or $3.8 million. And that's how I make sure I always have a delta in how we keep our compensation so high. Okay. Next, what advice would you give to your younger self in regards to commercial real estate? I would have told myself, literally save every dollar and invest every dollar you possibly can in commercial real estate deals. Get invested in the deals because the deals that we're doing are getting 20 to 30% per year, and I'm so grateful I invested the amount of money I did. But like I could be worth twice what I'm worth today if I just would have invested in more deals. That's number 1. Number 2, I would have gotten into commercial real estate a lot earlier in my career. I spent a lot of time in residential land, and I would have rather made a little bit less money in commercial real estate than getting into residential real estate when I did. I think it taught me a little bit, but I could have been, so much further ahead if I got into commercial real estate earlier on in my career. Great question. Great question. Also, by the way, for those of you who are, if you guys are making over 200 grand a year, by the way, I'm talking to you guys. If you're making over 200 grand a year and you feel stuck, or if you're making less than 200 grand a year, right, then we should be having a conversation. Book a call with myself and my team down in the description down below. Let's have a conversation, right? Because like obviously, you should be sick and tired of making less than 200 grand a year, less than 300 grand a year. Like I'm talking to you right now. Like I have a lot of people that we work with where we're taking people from like 100 or 200 grand a year to 300, 400, 500, 600 plus a year within a 12-month period of time. I have 20-something-year-old kids that are this year are going to make $300,000, $400,000, and $600,000 in total GCI. That only happens because they follow a plan. And if you're not following a plan and you don't have high levels of accountability and a coach like myself, and by the way, I don't care who you hire, get a coach, have somebody hold you accountable, right? I mean, obviously, you know, my team members get a TC, lead managers and admins, like all taking care of their stuff for them, but you can build this all out yourself and keep 100% of the profits for you. Okay. You know, no splits, no nothing. Like if you're struggling to make $200,000 or $300K a year, I'm talking to you in the commercial real estate business. That could literally be one closing. Last month, as an example, we closed on a deal and make $200,000. Last month, we did over $400,000 in commissionable income through all the deals that we closed on, over $400K in commissionable deals. Okay. That doesn't include the investment deals that I did. That was just brokerage side, just the brokerage side of the business, over $400,000 in commissionable deals, okay, in commissions last month. So it's like, if you're not making at least $200,000 to $300,000 a year in commercial real estate deals, clearly there's something not right in your business, and we need to figure that out and do a deep dive in your business right away. Make sure you guys book a call with us. You know, if you're watching me on Instagram, it's in the link in bio. If you're here on YouTube or Facebook or anything like that, make sure you go in the description down below and book a call with my team, because enough is enough already. Right? Like, guys, if you made 100 or 150 or 200 grand a year, invest in learning how to make an extra 100 grand a year every year for the rest of your life. I mean, imagine if you just learned how to sell one extra deal every year for the rest of your career. If I just taught you something that will allow you to sell one extra deal every year, and that one extra deal is $50,000 to $100,000, and you're in this career for the next 20 years, I just helped you make an extra $1 million to $2 million for the, you know, throughout your career. How much is that worth to you to make an extra $1 million or more in your career? How much is that worth to you? Would you pay $5K? Would you pay $10K? Would you pay $50,000, $100,000 to learn how to make an extra $1 million or $2 million or more throughout the rest of your career? Guess what? Lots of people have invested money substantially less than what I've even mentioned here, and they've made infinite multiples on their investment in the program. So make sure you guys book a call down below. Last thing I'm going to say to you guys, because we're going to wrap up in just about a minute. If you have any other questions, make sure you drop in the chat box down below. Make sure you get your free copy, CREsync, down in the description below. 30 days free access. Some of you are going to get an access to, whoever, make sure they get the few people who download CREsync and get access to it today and over the next 30 days. If you're watching this, you still have time. I'm going to be giving away a few things. One, I'm going to be giving away a free one-on-one call. Number two, I'm going to be giving away free courses. Number three, I'm going to be giving away a free copy of my book, or a couple of free copies of my book. So make sure you guys get access to CREsync. It's absolutely free for the next 30 days. Then it's $297 a month after. Again, it comes with all the custom automations, custom built automations for every type of follow campaign, your buyer campaigns, cold text message campaigns to new sellers, all the tags you'll need, and my seller pipeline, all the pipeline stages you could need in order to see success in the commercial real estate business. Also, if you're interested in blowing up your 2026, make sure you pre-register for the business planning workshop. We already have over 50 people registered. We're going to cut it off at 500 people, and it's over a month and a half away. So make sure you pre-register. The Zoom room literally only holds 500 people. So the first 500 people who make it on, block off December 10th, 12 noon Eastern time. I would love to hang out with you guys. What is the cost of the coaching program? Make sure you guys book a call down below if you're interested in joining the coaching program. You can just click the link in the bio. It has all the details about pricing and everything right there. It's a 12-month coaching program. Just because there's lots of different levels to it, it ranges. I mean, we have super affordable programs that are $97 all the way up to a $60,000 program. So make sure you guys double check the description down below. Just, obviously we can figure out what makes the best sense for you, but you guys can check that out down below. So obviously, it's different for everybody. It depends on what kind of support you need. Not everybody needs the same support. So obviously also a lot of free stuff here on YouTube. All right, guys, look, it's 7 p.m. I was ripping for the last, how long we're on here? An hour and 20 minutes. I appreciate you guys so very much. Let's crush it for the rest of this year. I'm looking forward to see you guys in the business planning workshop, and I'll see you guys inside CREsync. Make sure you guys download it. Appreciate you, everybody, tuning in, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everybody. Peace out.